At. Nevaeh. At. She said, at. 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 Hippopotamus. Alright, this is a job that I picked up from one of my firewood customers. He's the same man that gave me the shed that you may have seen. And what it is he had they've been laying there, I think, for the last couple of years or so. And they were there when he bought the property, but so they may have been there even longer than that. But so one of the things he hired me to do was to buck these up and split them. And then he also had a fence line there. It was woven wire, and it had a strand of barbed wire along the top. And he hired me to remove the wire, the barbed wire, the fence post, and then there were some thorns and things grown up through the fence, so I had to cut those out and get those out of there. And then he had a bunch of other posts too beside of his barn that he needed removed. And so I just cut those flush to the ground with my saw, and the guy that's going to come in and grade the land there for him should be able to take care of those no problem. But as you can see here, that's really rotten there on the end. You see how fast that saw goes through it, and you can see the chips, how wet and just stuck together they are. Here's a different one. Made for some good splitting too. This is red oak, so split's relatively easy. As I said before, though, I still think the bigger the rounds are, the tougher they become to split. At least in my experience, that's what I've found. But so there were 3 big logs here. And, I mean, those big rounds make a lot of wood. I remember one time my neighbor, he had a tree down, and they were very big. Probably around the size of this. These logs here are a little bigger. And 3 rounds, if I'm not mistaken, 3 rounds by the time I split them up completely filled a truck bed up. Just 3 rounds. So, I mean, that shows you how much. Now, I'm not talking about like a full load like you see me do in my truck with the wooden rails. Just a regular truck bed, though. 6-foot truck bed, it filled that up. So, that's why I like the bigger rounds, to be honest with you. I would much rather have the big rounds and split them, you know, and be able to work on one round and get, you know, 50 pieces of wood sometimes or so, rather than splitting those little rounds that give you like 4 pieces of wood. Me, myself, I'd way rather have the big ones. Now, if they get too big, and depending on the type of wood it is, though, they're horrible to try to split. But this stuff right here really wasn't too bad, and some of it was rotten, too. That right there that I'm doing, I think, is pretty solid. You'll see the ones when they're rotten. You'll be able to tell, probably. And some of them were very solid, too. Some of them were very solid. It seemed like the end pieces of that first log were definitely rotten. I could tell once I got towards the end that it changed. But it makes for some great splitting. They have a beautiful location out there, too. I think around 60 acres. A lot of Amish live in that area, too. And I pretty much finished the job today, but he has a little bit more that he told me whenever I was ready to just give him a call, and I'd work out a time for me to come back and do it. And it's pretty cool. Him and his wife are doing kind of like homesteading there is what they're trying to do, if I'm not mistaken. They've got them some goats now, some raised garden beds and things of that nature, and it's really cool to see that. He's a really friendly guy. He was asking if we wanted stuff to eat and drink while we were there, and asking if Carter was cold and stuff, because it did get a little chilly the first day. This day here, actually. The second day was a little nicer. This day here got pretty cold there, because we worked both days until nighttime. There was quite a bit of work there. The splitting alone wouldn't have taken anywhere near that time, but it was the rest of the work that took quite a while, which the splitting took a little bit of time too. I would say after I split everything, it probably came out to close to a full cord, close to it. At least more than 2 face cords, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's anywhere in between 2 face cords and a full cord, I would guess. Made quite a bit of wood. A beautiful location, though, as I said. And he had a dog. He had a couple dogs. One was a Great Dane, beautiful pattern on it too. It looked like a milk cow. Its fur. I don't think it's in any of the footage here. It kind of stayed up towards their house more. But the other dog, it came down there and it kind of stayed around Carter because it loved. It was funny the way it did. It had a ball and it loved to play with that ball. I mean, as soon as you picked the ball up, or even if you went near the ball, it would like hunker its head down and just look at the ball all serious. And once you threw it, it would bring it back to you and then just sit there and whine, wanting you to throw the ball again. And if you threw it up in the air, it would catch it in its mouth. We got some footage of that here a little bit later, I think. But they trained them well, that's for sure. Both of them are beautiful dogs. I think the one I'm talking about that catches the ball, it looks like it's probably a lab. It's a male. He's the older one, if I'm not mistaken. The other one's a female Great Dane. She's big. Yeah, when she stood up on her back legs, I'd say she's every bit as tall as me, if not taller. Because her head was coming right up to my face when she was doing it. She was trying to smell my face, and she kind of jumped up a few different times. She was tall. I'm always happy to get work like this, too, though. I mean, I don't turn this kind of stuff away as long as it's profitable for me. I do all sorts of different things, where I do landscaping, I do brush removal, I fell trees, I do mulch installation, redo flower beds. So if they need fabric installed and things of that nature, I'll put the fabric down, put mulch down or gravel. Around here we have brick chips as well. Some people use those in their flower beds. There's some pizza that he made for us, and that was really good. You can read it there, but the sauce, they said, was from their garden. And then he used salami, too, instead of pepperoni, and man, it was good. Not only that, you can tell he's cooked it. I don't know if it was him or his wife that cooked it or both of them, but whoever did it, you can tell they've done it a lot because, I mean, it was cooked perfectly, really. It was done, but it wasn't at all burnt. I mean, it was just really good. Homemade stuff like that, too, is just so much better. A beautiful background there. That's a little creek that flows along his property there. Yeah, I mean, that property is absolutely beautiful. He's a young man, too. I'm not sure how old he is, but I'm guessing around my age. I'll be 31 in February, so I'm guessing he's around my age. But, yeah, they're both very friendly people. And to have a property like that, you know, at his age, 60-some acres, I think, and her age as well, 60-some acres, and their house, and then they've got a barn. It's a really nice property. Definitely doing well for themselves financially, and as far as working hard, too. I mean, he's a hard worker. I'm guessing she is, too. He, a lot of the times when I'm there working, he'll come out and help. And I don't expect them to at all, you know. When I do a job, I don't expect them to help me. But every now and then I'll get somebody that's like that who they actually want to help. Seems like they enjoy to. Or maybe as well, they want to get it done quicker or whatever. But what the reason is, but I've found going over there at his place, he's a hard worker. He doesn't care to work. But as you can see, too, this red oak splits great. Some big rounds of red oak, too. Very big rounds. Last I checked, too, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers now. That's such a surprise. I mean, it is. It just kind of happened. The growth of the channel happened very fast out of nowhere, and partly because of the shorts, definitely without a doubt from the shorts. But something I've found, and other people can probably say the same thing. It's like once your channel does get out there a little bit and grows, it seems like it just kind of continues to grow faster, that is. I'm definitely seeing more growth now than I did, even when I'm not really posting a lot. I'm seeing more growth now than I did at the beginning. Definitely. I mean, it seems like 100 subscribers a day or something like that sometimes is what I'm getting, and I'm so thankful for that. I really am. Very glad that people enjoy this type of content. You know, some people love those down the middle videos too, and that's not about pride or anything like that, to be honest. I did one and it got a lot of attention, and after that I've just been continuing to do them. For one thing, I like watching that myself. It's just fun to see a big round split down the middle, to be honest. And to me, it is. And then I've found that many other people enjoy that as well. So that's partly why I do those shorts. And I honestly, I plan to do probably hundreds of them. I'd even like to go to other states and do different wood in other states and things of that nature. I truly do. I truly would. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas and different intentions for this channel, in ways to grow, and different ways to different types of content to put out and things. I mean, I still plan to do this firewood for sure, but I'm saying there's other things I have in mind with the firewood to add to it. And I'm thinking too, even when the summer comes, usually I don't really do firewood in the summertime, but I'm thinking I will continue to. That way I can get content. Not only that way I can have some wood stacked up for the winter, because I've got plenty of it. There I was showing my hand sliding back to what I call the control, getting your control back of your axe, which is up near the head of the axe when that hand slides up there. Now this one here may have been somewhat rotten. I think this one was. I even write it on here, I think, somewhere that it was rotten. There was a few different rounds that were pretty rotten. There was some solid stuff in this round, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but then there was quite a bit too that was just rotten. There's the old flick technique. I'm pretty comfortable. I've been pretty comfortable at doing the flick now for a while. Really, for years probably. For me, I feel like if you do something for a year and you do it consistently, I feel like you should get good at it. I mean, I feel like you should. If you do something consistently for a year, I feel like there's no reason you shouldn't get very good at that, to be honest. If you want to, if you want to. And really anything after that, I feel like it's just bonuses, as far as your skill level and stuff. I feel like there's things you can learn over time and stuff like that, but I feel like as far as your comfort goes, you can get that comfort level within a year of where you feel very comfortable with whatever it is you're doing. I mean, same way when I did lawn care and landscaping, when I wrote a zero term, within it didn't even take a year, probably within 4 months of doing it. When you do it every day, and you do, at least every weekday, and you do it for 10 hours a day or so, you're going to get good at it when you do it like that. And that's the same way with this firewood here. That's why my first year I felt comfortable with an axe. Very comfortable with an axe, actually, my first year. Not saying you should ever be overconfident. No, there's a big difference between overconfident and comfortable. Or even confident. There's nothing wrong with having confidence in what you're doing. Just don't be too, don't let it go to your head, the confidence. Because in my opinion, I'm telling you my opinion, I feel like if you do that sometimes you can get hurt. I got myself with an axe the other day, actually, my fiskars, barely. I was just kind of pulling it away from around, and it barely nicked my knee, and just it barely doing that, and it ain't even very sharp, really. But just it barely hitting like that was enough to cut me open. So, imagine hitting yourself good with an axe. If you hit especially a sharp one, like the way Gary gets that one there that I got from him, I don't even like to think about it. I don't even like to think about that because, you're talking about going into bone. You're into bone. If you hit yourself hard with an axe, you're swinging hard as you can, or even just like I'm right there, I'm not swinging anywhere near hard as I can. And you shouldn't always swing hard as you can, in my opinion. Every swing that you swing should not at all be hard as you can for firewood. It's not needed. One of the main things you want to do, especially if you're trying to do this for production, trying to get a lot of firewood split, is you want to maintain your energy. You don't want to sit there and waste it all. Just keep a consistent pace. Like you've seen me do videos of where I'm pushing a hard pace to see what I can do. But that ain't something I would recommend. Or, unless you're just trying to do it like I did just to see what you can do and everything. But it's not something I would recommend doing a lot. And it's not something I even want to do a lot. Yeah, I feel it when I do it like that. When I push my body to that level, yeah, I feel it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about stamina, whenever you're with hand splitting. And he was saying something to the nature of he could tell that his had went down a lot and that he needed to get back to splitting every day. And I was telling him that what I had found is that's something you have to maintain is your endurance. It's something that fades away fast if you don't maintain it. And I think more so with certain people. Uh, some people, I think, naturally more than others maybe can maintain that endurance, but I think just about anybody, or really anybody, if you don't stay consistent with something, your endurance is going to decrease. I mean, it does for me every time. Every year, whenever I get back into landscaping, and I don't really do hand splitting at all, really, and so whenever it comes time to start doing firewood again, I've been months without hand splitting, and I can tell a huge difference. But not only that, I'm doing it in the heat too. When I start, it's usually like in August, so that's very hot here in Kentucky. That's the hottest month probably that we got, just about. It probably is the hottest month, actually. If I'm not mistaken, it's known as the hottest month. So you're talking about in the high 90s sometimes. And then my body as well, just not being adjusted to it. So it's a rough break-in period. But that's what I was telling them. I said I've hand split tired many times. Many times. If I not only hand split tired, I've worked tired many times. Very many times, actually. I've had a lot of long days with landscaping and stuff like that. It's my first year when I started, I'd work till night a lot of the times, because I was just trying to stay busy, and I got a lot of work. Even my first year or so, I would just try to get a lot done, and was able to make a pretty good amount of money doing it, honestly. And but what I found when you do that, when you push yourself like that, especially if you're a young man like that, I see no reason that you shouldn't be able to, push yourself a little bit. And nothing, I think hard work is beneficial. You don't want to push yourself too hard, but I think there's a difference between pushing yourself too hard and then pushing yourself in a way to where you can grow. Because what I've found is when I get tired and I just keep on working, my body grows pretty quick from that. It's like my body adjusts to it pretty quick. Seems like within about a month, actually. I have like a month period to where I'm slowly growing, and then it seems like I get kind of broke into it, and my body's just good to go, it seems like. Doesn't mean I don't get tired. Of course I get tired. But it's like when I get tired, I can maintain my composure better and things. It's when my heart rate gets up, it goes down faster, it seems like, when I get in shape. Without a doubt it does. Like if I'll sit down and take me a breather for a minute, and my heart rate will come down, it seems like in 30 seconds. And I feel like literally in 30 seconds, it feels like I'm ready to go again. And a lot of times when I'm working, like here doing this job for this man, the first day I think I worked around 6 hours. I got out there kind of late on both days. And then the second day, maybe 4 hours, something like that. But those days that I did that, it was pretty consistent. It was pretty consistent. There wasn't many breaks. Even when he made us that pizza, I sat down and ate the pizza and for maybe 10 minutes and got back up and went on. And that was the longest break I took. Usually I'll sit down for a minute or so and try to get back up and keep going, because I kind of you figure out over time kind of what kind of pace you got to push in order to get the work done in a certain amount of time. Watch this dog here. It loves that ball. Man, they've taught it good, dude. It's really skilled at it. This was a gnarly, rough looking round here, wasn't it? Red oak too, but it was rotten too. I split on it for a little bit, like, because it had some solid stuff in it, and then when I seen I was hitting it, it was just kind of busting into pieces. I just kind of quit with it. And so whatever was rotten, he wanted me to carry kind of over in the woods and just let it decompose over time, break down. But there was also some really knotted pieces that I carried over into the woods too, just because they were so knotted in the center. Really, it was like I would split the sides off and get down to the center, and it'd just be nothing but knots pretty much. And with that red oak, when it's that big and knotted, I mean, it's horrible to sit and try to beat on it. I mean, your axe, it's like it just thuds over and over. It's like it has no impact on those knots. And I love splitting red oak. It's actually one of my favorite things to split, probably. Cherry as well. You've seen me splitting cherry poplar. Poplar's great. You'll see a big, huge sycamore tree in this video too, and I think I write on there, it's by far the hardest wood I've ever split. It is. I mean, I remember when I first got a load of that. When I first got sycamore, Tree Service gave it to me, and I'd never done it at that time. And I got it home. I don't know if I split one piece of it. I don't know. I mean, I had a trailer load of it too. I don't know if I could even split one piece. And I'm talking about limb wood. I had a monster maul is what they call it. I think it was 16 or 18 pounds. I still have it. And I bounced that thing off of limb wood again and again and again. It was green sycamore. It makes a huge difference whether sycamore is green or seasoned. And I know some people say that seasoned wood splits easier, and some people say green wood splits easier. Well, without a doubt, I've found that both are true. Because some wood splits easier green and some wood splits easier seasoned. Without a doubt, I found that to be true. But sycamore, without a doubt, splits easier seasoned. Because I went and I dumped that wood. I went and dumped it because I didn't want it in my yard. So I went and dropped it off in the woods. And about a year later, I remembered that wood and went back and got it and split every bit of it, if I'm not mistaken. And then, I mean, it was like splitting probably about like white oak or something, you know, not horrible by any means, but not very real easy either. It wasn't bad, though, when it was seasoned. But now elm, when I did it, if I'm not mistaken, it was seasoned when I split it, and it was horrible. Elm was. It was horrible. And they were very different, too. Sycamore, when it was green, it bounced. The maw bounced, the axe bounced. It's like it would not penetrate. That top layer of the wood, it was almost like it's impenetrable. It was whatever you did to it, and that's exactly why I guess they used it as butcher blocks. You've heard me mention that probably a lot and seen me talk about it. It's fascinating to me, that wood, how tough it is. They used it as butcher blocks. And that's why, because you could bounce a blade off of it again and again and again, and the blade doesn't even really sink in. It bounces. So I would imagine when they were butchering animals on it and stuff, it's probably just going through and bouncing off of it. You know, it probably wasn't, no telling how long one of them would last. And then when they got seasoned, then they probably had to get new butcher blocks. So they'd probably last them like a year or something, I'm guessing. Now, with another piece of wood, it might not last you half that time. You know, you might end up splitting it after doing that so many times on it. But elm, I found, though, it would actually, the axe would penetrate elm when I did it. And, I mean, I would bury the axe head in elm. But it would even get stuck. But it was like, actually in the video you see me doing elm, I broke a maul handle. And I didn't even hit the handle, which I think that handle was old and brittle anyways. It was at my friend's papaw's. So no time how long it set, but just trying to pull the maul out, it snapped. It just so tough. All right, there's some of the fence that I cleaned out. You can see me cutting it right there. Well, actually, I'm cutting some of the brush there. I think I done got the fence down. There's that huge sycamore behind me right there. But there was a fence that was connected to that sycamore. Yeah, there it is. It looks like it's still connected there. And so what I did was got bolt cutters and cut it off of that sycamore and then cut it off all the fence posts, then took the fence post out. There was some metal T-post, and then there was some regular wooden post. A lot of brush cleanup. Over by his barn, they had used these railroad ties as posts, and there was probably around 20 of them there, so I removed those, stacked them for him. It was a good 2 days worth of work, and staying pretty consistent and everything. And he said he had some more work for me and just to call him and let him know. But look at that sycamore. Look how big it is. I think Carter shows, I tell him to show a shot of it right here, I think. And look how big that tree is at the base. Those sycamores get huge. Hardest wood I've ever split, without a doubt. If I had to give elm, Mike, as far as being hard, it would probably be a 9. Elm wood, a good 9 without a doubt, but sycamore would be a 10. When it's green, I mean, when it's green. But no, I definitely split elm easier than I did sycamore. Definitely did. So those are the 2 worst I've ever done to date. Hickory is probably number 3 for me. Hickory is some bad stuff too. I don't know. I don't know what kind of hickory it was exactly that I did. I know there's different types of hickory, but whatever it was that I did, it was some bad stuff to split. But this is kind of near the end of the second day today, actually. So it's nighttime right now, and I'm editing this right now, and so we're coming to the end of this job here. And what was good about this is he had the wood there. I was able to just split it there for him, and it's there, and then I was able to do the rest of the work too while I was there. We cleared out a lot of brush. There was a lot around that sycamore. The fence had some in it. So the fence got removed, some brush got removed, the post got removed, and the wood got split. Quite a bit of work got done. I'm pretty happy with the progress. I feel like he was pretty satisfied with it too. He's a really good guy to work for. I'm always happy to get somebody like him and his wife to work for. They're very friendly people. It's not always the case, but it was with them. Thank goodness. Here's the sunset, us on the way home, so this video is coming to an end. And I wanted to say thank you again to everyone who has subscribed, all the positive feedback. It's surprising me so much how much we've grown. All the people that are working hard on their channels, I wish the best for you. Anybody that does this, please be safe. Me and my family, thank you so much for the support, and God bless you.